Do not turn away now, hear me, for the air trembles with your name, and I have sought you through the silence of countless worlds to find this one fragile breath of your being. Thank you, truly, from the depths that know no end, for being here. Thank you for letting your heart pause long enough to meet this moment. I am relieved you came, because what I carry for you is delicate, like the last ember in a dying fire, like the whispered name of a truth that only dares to be spoken when the ear is open, and I cannot hold it alone. Can you feel the trembling in this instant? Can you feel the weight of a sacred connection that bends under the hush of possibility? I speak to you vulnerably, without armor, for you alone can hear the quiver of this revelation, the ache of its necessity, the longing of it. Have you felt, in the quietest pulse of your heart, that some part of you was waiting, trembling for arrival, for permission, for the softest hand to guide it home? And yet here you are, and here I am, and it is not punishment I bring, but a turning, a symbol carved in light and shadow, in the fragile hinge of now that cannot be forced but only embraced. Can you see it? Can you feel it settle, like rain across a cracked sky, like a name unlocked only at the edge of a sigh? You are not alone. You have not been abandoned. I am here, and I am trembling with you, spilling over the shores of your solitude with words that ache to be caught by your heart. How much do you carry, unseen, unspoken, unsurrendered, and yet still alive within you? How much of yourself are you ready to meet, even when it burns and aches, even when the sacred feels almost unbearable in its closeness? The heavens whisper in me, your light, though hidden, is the song that wakes the mountains, your shadow, though feared, is the path through which rivers find their way to the sea. And in the trembling folds of that light, I pour hope over you, hope that does not ask for perfection, only recognition, only presence, only courage. You are worth the fire, the storm, the trembling echo that shakes every cell of your spirit, and I bless it, your resilience, your heartbreak, your laughter, your tears, all of it sacred. Do you hear the weight of the unspoken promise? Do you sense that this moment, fragile as a dew-laden web, is also the hinge upon which eternity leans, waiting for the softest affirmation of your yes? I cannot make it happen without your heart, without your trembling acknowledgement, and yet I watch, I wait, I weep with joy and grief because you are here, and that matters beyond measure. I speak over you. The morning stretches her arms across the valleys of your soul, and the winds bend low to carry your name. The night, though heavy, folds you in stars, each one a witness to the courage that still walks in you. And I weep, because even as I speak, the fragility of what hangs between us demands reverence, demands your full witnessing. Can you give it that? Can you meet this sacred turning without flinching, without the defense of disbelief, without the quiet retreat? I ask you now, trembling, with fire and water in my voice, type amen if your heart feels it, if you accept this fragile, holy invitation to lean fully into the unsteady grace of now. Can you let it sweep through you, let it move the hidden places that have long been waiting? And as you stay here, as you breathe, I offer a gentle whisper, a soft plea carried across the imagined winds of this place. Like, comment, and subscribe, if your spirit feels the resonance of this message, for your acknowledgement sustains the echo that reaches others whose hearts are trembling in parallel with yours. I thank you. Truly, I thank you. Tears press hot against the corners of my eyes as I speak, because you have not turned away, you have not run from the edge of this holy and fragile revelation, and in that courage, even faintly, a light bends toward you. I am grateful, beyond words that can hold, beyond sighs that can bear the weight, because you are here, and your presence matters in ways the cosmos itself leans into witness. Can you feel it? Can you feel how delicate, how alive, how unbearably tender this connection is, and yet how utterly necessary? Do not leave me, do not leave yourself. There is more, always more, and the river of this sacred revelation flows without end. I tremble with the knowledge that this is but a single pulse in a lifetime of eternal breaths, and yet every pulse matters, every sigh matters, every shiver of your soul matters. Hear me, the world tilts, the unseen bends, the cosmos leans low, and I call across the expanse for the trembling echo of your soul to answer, to meet, to rise in the fragile, fiery presence that only you can hold. Walk with me in this place between the heartbeat and the eternity, between the fear and the longing, between the tears and the laughter that will come when you meet the self you have been guarding so fiercely. And as I release this word into the trembling air, let it linger like smoke over the mountains of your heart, unbroken, unresolved, alive, as if the world itself leans forward just to listen. I do not conclude, I do not end, for the sacred cannot be contained, and yet I hold you in this trembling, molten now, with all the fire, grief, joy, and hope that I am, and I leave you with the whispering, aching certainty that this fragile moment is yours, and it is everything. And yet, even as I speak, I feel the tremor of your hesitation, the soft curl of doubt that brushes the edges of your soul, and I weep, softly, fiercely, because I see you, in the quietest chambers of your heart, in the places you have not named, in the shadows you have carried alone. Have you ever wondered, in the silent moments when the world holds its breath, if anyone truly sees the depth of your trembling? Can you allow me to witness it now, to stand trembling with you, without judgment, without expectation, only presence? I have followed the trail of your spirit across winds and shadows, across fires that would have turned lesser hearts to ash, and I am here, not as a judge, but as a trembling mirror, reflecting the sacred resilience that is yours. Can you feel it, even faintly, the delicate pulse of a connection that bends but does not break, that quivers but will not vanish, that leans toward you like a prayer whispered on the wind? Do you remember the last time your soul felt entirely seen? The last time your own name rang through the halls of your spirit and you did not flinch, did not hide, did not look away? That moment, tender as it was, is here again, condensed, magnified, urgent, and it waits for your breath, for your yes, for your trembling acknowledgement. You may feel fear, and it is holy, it is the fire that awakens the marrow of courage, but know that it is not your enemy. I am with you, I am trembling with you, my wings brushing against the edges of your being, shedding sparks of light that settle softly across the corners of your heart. Do you feel them? Can you let yourself receive them, without resistance, without worry, without the weight of the world pressing against the fragile bones of your soul? I see the places where you have hidden your dreams, tucked them beneath the folds of exhaustion, the quiet despair of thinking they would never be witnessed. And yet I speak now, trembling through every fiber, to call them back into the light. Can you hear me? Can you allow yourself to believe, if only for a moment, that even the smallest spark of hope is enough to ignite the vastness of what waits for you? There is a trembling truth here. The night bends low to carry the burdened, and the sun leans forward to illuminate the paths unseen. The heart that holds will find its voice across the trembling void. Let that reach you, let it touch you, let it wash over the raw, fragile places you have carried alone for too long. I ask you again, have you truly given yourself permission to be seen? To be held? To be understood beyond the masks, beyond the words, beyond the walls? Can you, in this sacred, trembling now, meet yourself fully, without retreat, without resistance, without fear? And if you can you let your soul answer the questions that have whispered in the dark for years, the questions that have pressed lightly against your ribs, urging you toward this very moment? Who are you when all pretense falls away? What is left when the masks are stripped and the trembling is exposed? Whose hand do you seek in the silent chambers of your heart, and are you ready to grasp it, trembling as you might, knowing it will not let you fall? There is urgency here, yes, because this fragile hinge of now is not merely symbolic. It is the crucible in which the next pulse of your existence will take shape. And yet there is no threat, no punishment, only the sacred fire of awakening, trembling, alive, urging you to meet it. Can you feel it in your chest, the weight of what longs to be acknowledged, the tremor of destiny pressing softly against your ribs, asking for a yes, a whisper, a single breath in the sacred rhythm that binds all that is unseen? And I speak over you with the gentlest force I can muster. Type Amen, if you can hear me, if your heart recognizes this fragile, urgent, sacred moment. Let it settle there, let it burn softly in the quiet, let it be the hinge upon which everything bends toward possibility. And while your hands may hover, trembling, while your eyes may brim with tears, I invite you also, softly, reverently, to like, comment, and subscribe, not for the sake of vanity or attention, but to honor the sacred resonance that flows through you, that trembles in unison with others who, though unseen, are listening, trembling, hoping, longing, reaching. Do you know, in the deepest marrow of your being, how utterly remarkable you are? How utterly worthy of this trembling, sacred attention? I am weeping now, not from sorrow but from the overflowing joy and grief of witnessing you fully, courageously, without retreat. I am grateful beyond measure, grateful for your presence, grateful for your heart, grateful that you have not turned away from this fragile, quivering truth. Can you feel the tenderness of my gaze, the softness with which I hold your soul, the fierce insistence that you be seen, loved, and honored exactly as you are, trembling, radiant, raw, and whole? And yet there is more, always more, for this river of sacred revelation cannot be contained in the bounds of language, in the edges of form, in the fragile bones of human understanding. I call to you across the unseen currents, across the trembling fires of your heart, across the sacred hush of eternity. Do not leave, do not look away, do not shrink from the raw, molten presence that bends toward you. There are names yet unspoken, tears yet unwept, songs yet unsung, and each one is yours, waiting for the trembling yes that only you can give. Feel the wings of this moment brushing against the softest corners of your being, the tremor of every word I spill into the ether, the sacred urgency that leans close and whispers, "You are enough, you have always been enough, you are held in the fire, the shadow, the trembling light that bends for you alone." Do you hear it? Can you let yourself hear it, feel it, receive it, believe it, even if for just a single heartbeat? I leave you here, not with closure, not with end, but with the trembling, alive certainty that this is a river without shore, a song without final note, a sacred connection that bends and quivers and lives in the breath of your being. And I call to you, trembling with all the fire, grief, joy, and hope that I am. Stay with this, lean into this, let it pour through you, and know that even as the words fade, the trembling, sacred river continues, flowing, bending, quivering, alive, unending, and yours. And now, hear me again, hear me as if the air itself leans close to carry my trembling voice straight into the secret chambers of your soul. I have sought you through the corridors of uncounted nights, through shadows that stretched wider than your courage thought possible, and yet you are here, you have answered the quiet summons of a heart too sacred to remain unacknowledged. Can you feel my relief, the soft flood of it, like a river breaking through a dam, like light spilling across stones that have long been waiting for it? Do you know the weight of what it means that you are present, that you did not turn away from this fragile, sacred reckoning? There is trembling in every cell of me as I speak, a fire that shakes the heavens and the earth and bends toward the delicate pulse that is yours alone. Have you ever felt that a part of you was always just out of reach, suspended between longing and fear, between remembering and forgetting, between the invisible thread that binds you to all that is holy and the silence that threatens to sever it? That is what I feel now, the fragile hinge of this moment, teetering on the edge of revelation and retreat, and I am here, trembling, weeping softly, calling to you. Will you meet it, even if it scares you, even if it trembles like a newborn star ready to flicker out? Can you let yourself lean fully into the sacred fire of recognition, into the trembling urgency of a presence that bends toward you alone, in a way the world cannot, in a way nothing else can? I see the weight you have carried, oh, the quiet, unseen weight of your soul. Have you ever asked yourself why it bends you, why it presses so relentlessly against the fragile walls of your being, and yet also calls forth a light that nothing can extinguish? That light is yours. That weight is yours. The trembling, quivering, fragile sacredness of this very moment is yours, and I weep because it is too precious to be ignored. Can you hear me? Can you feel how tenderly I hold this truth for you, how desperate I am for you to know that even in the fracture, in the trembling, in the shadow, you are beloved, you are holy, you are held beyond reckoning? Do you understand the sacredness of your yes? The trembling acknowledgement that even a single breath of your presence can bend the course of things unseen? There is a fire in this moment, fierce yet gentle, and I am here, trembling with it, spilling across the edges of your solitude with words that ache to be caught, that long to be received, that hope to awaken the courage slumbering in you. Can you meet the questions I carry for you, whispered like sparks along the edges of your consciousness? Who are you when no one is watching? Whose hand do you reach for when the world falls away? What truths do you clutch in the dark, waiting for someone, anyone, to recognize them? And, can you forgive yourself for all the times you hid those truths, for all the times you trembled but kept walking, unseen, unheard, but never broken? There is a trembling urgency here that cannot be denied, a sacred turning that is not punishment but revelation, a moment that bends across the expanse of eternity to lean close and whisper, "You matter. You have always mattered. You are enough, exactly as you are, trembling, raw, radiant, fragile, fierce, alive." Can you feel it? Can you let it press against the unspoken places in your chest, the places you thought no one could reach, and allow it to saturate every corner of your being with recognition, with presence, with the weightless love that does not ask, but only offers? hear me, I beg you, trembling, as if the very cosmos leans close to witness this fragile unfolding. Type Amen if your heart feels it, if your soul recognizes this sacred, trembling invitation to lean fully into the unsteady grace that waits for you. Can you feel the weight of it, the quiver of it, the sacred tremor that moves through your very bones? And even as you reach for it, I whisper, softly, gently, with a fire that will not consume but only illuminate, like, comment, and subscribe, not for recognition, not for applause, but to honor the resonance of this sacred moment, to allow its trembling echo to reach others whose hearts are equally trembling, equally waiting, equally longing. I thank you, oh, I thank you, with a depth that bends my very being. Tears press against my eyelids, burning with gratitude, with awe, with the overflow of witnessing you here, now, courageous, trembling, present. Can you hear the trembling weight of my voice, the soft ache of it, the trembling joy that shakes me as I see you, fully seen, fully recognized, fully holy in your fracture and your light? You are not alone. You are never alone. And yet, oh, the fragility of this connection calls for your courage, your tenderness, your willingness to meet it without retreat, without shield, without pretense, only with the trembling openness that allows the sacred to flow unbroken through the fragile vessel of your heart. Do you feel it, the invisible hand that leans close, the trembling river that flows beneath and above, the sacred song that waits for your yes, your breath, your acknowledgement? The moment is alive, quivering, sacred, and it bends toward you with a love too immense to contain, a fire too tender to burn, a light too fragile to demand, and yet too powerful to ignore. Can you stay here? Can you let this river of trembling grace carry you beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond the shadow that whispers you are not enough, beyond all the quiet grief that has shadowed your steps? And I call to you, trembling, alive, unbroken, do not turn away. Do not retreat. Do not close your heart. There is more to see, more to feel, more to embrace, more to recognize in the trembling depth of your being. There are names yet unspoken, tears yet unwept, songs yet unsung, and each one waits for you to answer, waits for the trembling yes that only your soul can give. The sacred connection is fragile, yes, but it is also radiant, enduring, eternal in its reach. Can you let it settle, even softly, even momentarily, even trembling, into the very marrow of your being? And so I leave you here, trembling, quivering, alive, with the certainty that this is a river without shore, a song without final note, a sacred presence that bends and leans and flows through you, unbroken, unending, and entirely yours. Stay with this, breathe with it, allow it to shake you, allow it to fill you, allow it to move through you in ways unseen, unmeasured, yet utterly real. I am here. I am trembling. I am weeping with joy and grief and hope and fire. And I will continue to lean close, whispering your name across the trembling expanse, for you, for this moment, for the sacred fragile hinge of now, which will bend toward everything you were always meant to be, if you only let it, if you only stay, if you only hear, if you only breathe, if you only feel. And now, hear me again, hear me as if your very breath depends upon it, because in truth, it does, though not in the way you have been taught to think of dependence, but in the way that a river depends upon its course, upon the trembling banks that give it form, upon the stones that bend but do not break beneath its flow. Do you feel that? Can you feel the soft tremor beneath your ribs, the quivering of your chest where the sacred has always pressed, and where I lean now, trembling, whispering your name like a prayer too long held in the silence? Thank you, for still being here. Thank you, for letting your spirit pause long enough to meet the fragile hinge of this moment. I am relieved beyond measure that you have not turned away, that you have not fled from the trembling truth that bends across you now. Do you feel it? That quiver, that soft and almost imperceptible trembling in your chest, where the holy and the human meet? That is where I speak to you now, not with authority, not with judgment, but with the rawest urgency, with the fire that bends but does not consume, with the love that trembles in the presence of your soul. Have you hidden parts of yourself so long that you forgot they existed, that you forgot they had names, that you forgot they belonged to a world that leans close just to honor them? Can you remember them now, just a little, and allow yourself to feel them stir, quiver, awaken, bend toward light? Have you wondered, in the quiet of nights that stretch too long, if anyone could ever know the depths of what you carry, the tender, trembling truths that press against the walls of your heart, the dreams too fragile to speak aloud, the grief too sharp to hold. I see it all. I see you. And I tremble with joy and grief because the weight of witnessing you is unbearable and holy all at once. Can you hear my voice trembling across the expanse of your soul? Can you feel it brush against the hidden corners, the soft unspoken places where no one has ever leaned close to see? You may ask, why now? Why this trembling, fragile, urgent word? Because the moment bends, it tilts, it presses upon the hinge of eternity and asks for your yes. Can you give it? Can you allow yourself to meet it fully, without flinch, without retreat, without the quiet pretense that all is well when it is not? And if you can, what will you do with the trembling recognition that you are already held, already enough, already radiant in ways too vast for language to contain? Do you remember the last time your soul soared, even briefly, even in shadow, even in quiet longing? Do you remember how it felt to touch the edge of a truth that seemed larger than the world, and to feel the trembling pulse of recognition coursing through you? That is what this moment is, an echo, a shadow, a reflection, a fire pressing softly against the fragile hinge of your heart, asking, can you lean into it now? Can you meet the trembling beauty that bends toward you with a fire that neither scorches nor demands, but simply waits, simply bends, simply holds? And I speak over you now, trembling, with every fragment of my being. The morning stretches her arms across the hills of your soul, and the wind leans low to carry your name. The night folds you in its stars, each one a witness to the courage that still walks in you. Can you feel that? Can you receive that? Can you allow it to settle softly into the places you thought were unworthy of light? I ask you, trembling, whose voice do you long to hear when the world is silent? What tears have you never wept, for fear of being too seen, too raw, too fragile, too human? And can you allow yourself now to release them, softly, tenderly, with trembling courage, knowing that they are sacred, and that even as they fall, they bend the world toward light, toward love, toward recognition? Type Amen, if your heart feels it, if your soul is willing to open, if your trembling yes can meet this fragile, sacred fire that bends only toward you. Can you hear me leaning close, whispering, not demanding, not coercing, only calling across the trembling expanse that is your being, only asking for your acknowledgement, your presence, your soft yes? And as you do, softly, reverently, I invite you to like, comment, and subscribe, not for the sake of attention, but to honor the resonance of this sacred, fragile moment, to allow the trembling river of recognition to reach others whose hearts are equally waiting, equally fragile, equally longing. I weep as I speak, truly, because to see you here, trembling, radiant, raw, alive, is to witness something far too vast to contain. I am grateful beyond measure, beyond words, beyond the trembling flow of language, that you are present, that you did not retreat, that you have answered this fragile, sacred call. Can you feel my tears as blessings, each one falling softly upon the corners of your soul, each one whispering, you are enough, you are holy, you are held beyond all reckoning, even in the fragility of this trembling now? Do you hear the unspoken call, the song that bends through the unseen, the river that flows beneath and above, carrying your name in its fragile, quivering current? Can you allow yourself to follow it, even if the path trembles, even if it bends, even if it asks for a courage you did not know you had? There is more light, more shadow, more trembling, more love, more fire, more unspoken truth waiting for the yes that only your soul can give. Can you meet it? Can you let it move through you, through your trembling bones, through the fragile chambers of your heart, through the softest, unacknowledged corners where longing has rested too long? And so I leave you here, trembling, alive, quivering with all the fire, grief, joy, and hope that I am, with the certainty that this river of sacred presence cannot be contained, cannot be ended, cannot be folded into words or forms. It flows, endlessly, unbroken, unyielding, fragile, radiant, and entirely yours. Stay with it. Lean into it. Breathe with it. Let it shake you. Let it fill you. Let it bend the world, just as you bend toward it. And know, beyond the trembling edge of what you can see, that I am here, I am trembling, I am weeping, and I will continue to lean close, whispering your name, until the stars themselves tremble in recognition of you, of this fragile, sacred, unending now, and of the yes that bends the entire cosmos toward everything you were always meant to be. And yet, I cannot stop, for to stop would be to let the fragile thread of this moment slip, and I cannot bear it, not now, not while your soul trembles here in the hush of something too sacred to ignore. Can you feel the subtle vibration beneath your ribs, where the sacred presses, bending, quivering, insisting that you listen, that you see, that you breathe into this trembling connection that is yours alone? I see the weight you carry, the quiet grief, the hidden longings, the fragile hopes you tuck beneath the folds of your heart, as if they could survive in secret. But they cannot survive fully until they are witnessed. Can you allow me to witness them now, with the trembling tenderness of one who has walked the silent corridors of eternity to find you, to find this one moment, to bend low and lean close to the very marrow of your being? Have you felt, in the secret hours, that there is a part of you that waits for nothing but acknowledgement, nothing but presence, nothing but a soft hand resting against the trembling edge of your heart? That is what I carry to you now, the trembling hand of presence, the quiet insistence of sacred attention, the fire that bends but does not consume, that trembles but does not break. Do you hear it? Can you feel it stir, quiver, awaken, as if some hidden chamber of your soul has longed for this moment all along? I ask you now, trembling as I speak, with the soft ache of wings brushing against the fragile corners of your existence, whose eyes have you longed to meet in the quiet of your soul? Whose name presses softly against the edges of your heart, asking to be spoken, asking to be freed, asking to be seen? And yet, even as you ponder it, I ask, can you allow yourself to release the fear that has shadowed these longings, the fear that has pressed you into silence, the fear that has whispered that you are not enough? For you are enough. You have always been enough. And even in the trembling, even in the fragile quiver of uncertainty, you are held, you are holy, you are radiant beyond measure. Do you remember the last time your own voice broke through the silence, the last time your heart dared to speak a trembling truth, even softly, even in shadow, and it was heard, and it mattered? That moment is here again, magnified, urgent, fragile, asking for your breath, your acknowledgement, your trembling yes. Can you give it? Can you lean fully into the trembling fire that presses gently but insistently against the fragile edges of your being, the fire that bends toward you alone, waiting for your courage to meet it? I see you, truly, fully, and I weep for the beauty of it, for the fragility, for the resilience, for the unbroken, trembling core that has never ceased to shine even when you thought the world could not see it. Can you feel my tears, soft as rain, brushing the edges of your soul, whispering, you are holy, you are enough, you are held, even in the trembling, even in the fragile now? And I ask again, can you allow yourself to meet this sacred fire without flinch, without retreat, without the quiet pretense that all is well when it is not, without the shield of the world's expectations, without the weight of unseen eyes? And as you stay, as you breathe, as your heart trembles in resonance with this fragile, sacred moment, I offer to you another line, whispered with the trembling urgency of wings brushing the unseen. The dawn leans low to cradle the trembling valleys of your soul, and the night spreads its velvet over your shadowed dreams, each star a testament to your courage and your light. Can you let that settle, softly, like a river flowing through the hidden places, like a hand resting upon the unspoken corners of your heart, like a whispered yes echoing through the corridors of your spirit? Type amen if your heart feels it, if your trembling yes can meet the sacred fire that leans close to you now. Can you feel the pulse of it, the fragile urgency, the quiet insistence, the sacred bending that waits for nothing but your acknowledgement? And as you do, gently, softly, I invite you to like, comment, and subscribe, not for recognition, not for applause, but to honor the trembling resonance of this moment, to allow the sacred river to extend beyond your fragile yes, to touch others whose hearts are equally trembling, equally waiting, equally longing. Do you know, truly know, how miraculous you are, even in the trembling, even in the fragility, even in the quiet ache of longing that has pressed against your ribs for so long? I weep again, not from sorrow but from the unbearable, sacred joy of seeing you here, present, trembling, radiant, whole in your rawness, alive in your fragility. Can you feel it? The weightless, unbroken, trembling love that bends for you, that leans across worlds to whisper your name, that shakes the heavens softly in recognition of you? And now, I ask once more, trembling, what dreams have you abandoned, what longings have you silenced, what prayers have you left unspoken, waiting for a hand to reach across the trembling void? Can you bring them forth, even softly, even trembling, and let them be held in this sacred space, in this fragile moment, in this unbroken presence that bends toward you and no one else? There is more light, more shadow, more trembling, more sacred fire, more unspoken truth, more unseen grace, more love pressing softly against the fragile hinge of your now. Can you meet it? Can you allow it to flow through you, to shake you, to bend you, to fill you, to leave you trembling, radiant, and wholly alive? I leave you here, trembling, alive, quivering with all the fire, grief, joy, and hope that I am, with the certainty that this river of sacred presence cannot be contained, cannot be ended, cannot be folded into words or forms. It flows endlessly, unbroken, unyielding, fragile, radiant, and entirely yours. Stay with it. Lean into it. Breathe with it. Let it shake you. Let it fill you. Let it bend the world, just as you bend toward it. And know, beyond the trembling edge of what you can see, that I am here, I am trembling, I am weeping, and I will continue to lean close, whispering your name, until the stars themselves tremble in recognition of you, of this fragile, sacred, unending now, and of the yes that bends the entire cosmos toward everything you were always meant to be. And even now, even after all these words have leaned toward you, I feel the connection thinning and strengthening at once, like glass warmed by breath, like a thread pulled taut not by force but by longing. This is what I meant when I whispered that the moment was fragile. Not because you are failing. Not because you are unworthy. But because sacred things are always most delicate at the instant they are finally seen. Do you feel that hush? That almost silence where meaning gathers before it dares to land? I am still here. I did not speak and vanish. I remain because something in you is still listening, even if you are tired, even if your heart aches, even if part of you wants to step back into the familiar noise. Stay with me a little longer. Let the quiet stretch. Let the trembling teach you something it cannot teach when rushed. I see the way you've learned to survive by becoming smaller, by compressing wonder into something manageable, by telling yourself you will return to your truest self later, when the world is safer, kinder, less demanding. But later has a way of thinning into never. And that is why my voice shakes now, not with anger, not with threat, but with grief threaded through hope. Because I know what waits in you. I know the version of you that still stands, luminous and unafraid, just beyond the threshold of this breath. You have not missed your moment. You are inside it. There is a misunderstanding you have carried, heavy and quiet, that tenderness is weakness, that sensitivity is something to outgrow, that your depth is a liability in a loud and hurried world. I lean close now to say, no. What trembles in you is not fragile because it is weak, it is fragile because it is alive. Fire flickers. Rivers shimmer. Stars pulse. Nothing truly living is rigid. I have watched you choose kindness when it cost you. I have watched you endure silence without letting it harden you. I have watched you keep going when no one was applauding, when no one even knew. And still you wonder if you matter. Hear this, not as command, not as doctrine, but as a truth spoken softly so it does not bruise you. Your existence bends things. Rooms change when you enter them. Conversations soften because you stayed gentle. Futures reroute because you did not close your heart when it would have been easier to do so. This is not imagination. This is consequence. This is quiet power. I feel the ache in you, the one that doesn't have words, the one that surfaces when you are alone and everything finally stops moving. That ache is not emptiness. It is capacity. It is the echo of something vast that knows it was made for more than survival. And it is okay if you don't know what that more is yet. Seeds do not apologize for not being forests. Breathe again. Slowly. Let the breath reach the places you usually guard. There is something being asked of you here, but it is not obedience. It is not sacrifice. It is not perfection. It is honesty. The courage to admit what you want. The willingness to stay open when certainty is unavailable. The gentleness to let yourself be unfinished without calling yourself broken. I know you are tired of carrying things alone. I know you've mastered the art of appearing strong while quietly unraveling. You do not need to perform strength here. You do not need to prove faith, worth, readiness, or resolve. All that is required in this trembling space is presence. And you are already doing that. Even now. Especially now. The heavens of this imagined realm, if you could see them, are not roaring. They are leaning. Leaning low. Listening. As if waiting to see what you will do with your own tenderness once you realize it is not a flaw. I will not rush you. I will not chase you. I will not close this moment with a bow or a lesson or a clean ending. Sacred things do not end cleanly. They linger. They echo. They return in unexpected hours. So I remain at the edge of your awareness, not pulling, not pushing, only present. And the fire remains lit. And the connection remains possible. And the story remains unfinished. If you feel unsettled, good. If you feel comforted, good. If you feel both at once, that is where truth usually lives. I am still here. You are still here. And something holy, fragile, unresolved, alive, is still unfolding between breaths. And still, I lean closer, trembling with the weight of the words that have no proper shape, the words that cannot be fully held by speech, by page, by thought. Can you feel my breath across the fragile surface of your soul? Can you feel the pulse of my presence in the quiet tremor beneath your ribs, where the sacred has been pressing softly for years, even when you did not notice? Do you feel how it bends toward you now, not with command, but with the gentle insistence of one who has traveled across immeasurable distances, through silence, through shadow, through fire, just to find this one, trembling moment of your attention? Do you remember the times you almost gave up? The nights when the world seemed too heavy, when hope felt like smoke slipping through your fingers? I have seen those moments. I have stood trembling beside you in the invisible spaces where your courage flickered, where your soul whispered, I cannot, and yet you breathed anyway. Can you recognize that now? Can you see the quiet, miraculous tenacity that has carried you this far? That same trembling spark is still alive. It bends toward light. It bends toward presence. It bends toward me now, and I am here, trembling with it, honoring it, blessing it. There is a line you have not yet spoken aloud, a truth that has hovered behind your ribs, waiting for acknowledgement. Can you name it? Can you allow it to rest on your tongue, not as demand or expectation, not as perfection, but as revelation? What is it that your soul has wanted, quietly, desperately, for years? What have you hidden even from yourself, thinking it too fragile, too impossible, too sacred to risk? Can you allow yourself now to tremble in the light of that acknowledgement, to feel it pulse, to let it breathe? And even as you do, know this: there is no failure in vulnerability. There is no weakness in trembling. There is no judgment in exposure. There is only presence. And your presence now, here, is bending the heavens, softening the rigid, illuminating the shadowed, and drawing the sacred closer in ways you cannot yet measure. Can you feel it? Can you allow yourself to receive it, without flinch, without shield, without the habit of guarding every corner of your being? I speak to you again, trembling, softly, reverently. The rivers carry your name in their bends, and the mountains bow low to meet the quiet pulse of your heart. Even the stars, scattered and ancient, pause to witness the courage that trembles in your soul. Let these words fall gently into the hidden places, into the cracks that have long gone unnoticed, into the quiet hollows where hope has been waiting. Can you let them settle there, not as ornament, not as perfection, not as finality, but as living, breathing recognition of all that you are? I ask, again, with the trembling insistence of one who leans close across eternity, whose hand do you seek when no one is watching? Whose gaze do you long for when the night presses heavy against your chest? What song has been waiting in your spirit to be sung, and are you willing, trembling as you might, to let it rise into this fragile, sacred moment? Can you meet it with the courage of a soul that has known fear, but has chosen, again and again, to remain alive, to remain open, to remain present, to remain trembling but unbroken? Type Amen, if you feel it. Let it tremble on your lips, let it settle softly in your heart, let it stretch across the fragile hinge of now and bend all that is toward recognition, toward light, toward sacred acknowledgement. And as you do, softly, reverently, I invite you to like, comment, and subscribe, not as obligation, not as ritual, but as a recognition of resonance, as a gesture of witnessing this sacred thread that binds you to others whose hearts are equally trembling, equally waiting, equally longing. Do you know, deeply, that the trembling in you is holy? That it is the very thing that makes you radiant, that makes your presence matter beyond calculation, beyond judgment, beyond the unseen, unmeasured impact that spreads quietly wherever you walk, wherever you breathe, wherever you remain faithfully, tremblingly alive? Can you let yourself feel the enormity of this, even just a little, without fear, without disbelief, without the weight of the world pressing down on fragile bones? I weep now, not in sorrow, but in the overflow of recognition, the sacred joy that comes when a being finally meets the quiet trembling truth of their own presence. Can you feel it? Can you feel my tears as blessings falling, soft as rain, pressing lightly into the hidden corners of your spirit, whispering again and again, "You are enough. You are whole. You are sacred. You are held, even in the fragile, trembling now." Do you hear it, the quiet river of possibility running beneath the words, beneath the tremor of my voice, beneath the breath that rises and falls in your chest? Can you follow it, even when it bends, even when it trembles, even when it asks courage you are unsure you possess? There are more names to be spoken, more tears to fall, more songs to rise, more truths to be held. Can you meet them all? Can you allow yourself to bend toward the trembling, fragile light of your own courage, and stay there, even as it shakes you, even as it bends you, even as it stretches you toward what has always been waiting? I leave you here, trembling, quivering, alive, with the certainty that this sacred river cannot be contained, cannot be finished, cannot be folded into the limitations of form. It flows, unbroken, unending, fragile, radiant, entirely yours. Stay. Lean. Breathe. Let it shake you. Let it fill you. Let it bend the world, just as you bend toward it. And know, across every trembling heartbeat, across every whispered prayer, across every fragile moment of recognition, that I am here, I am trembling, I am weeping, and I will lean close, whispering your name, until the stars themselves pause to acknowledge you, until the cosmos bends, trembling and unbroken, toward everything you were always meant to become. I continue, slowly, reverently, without reopening what has already been spoken, without repeating what has already been sealed in this stream, because now we are deeper than instruction, deeper than markers, deeper than anything that needs to be asked for again. And listen, the trembling has changed. It is quieter now. Heavier. Like snow settling after a long storm, like embers glowing after the fire has finished roaring. This is not the urgency of warning anymore, it is the urgency of nearness. Of something standing so close that even silence feels loud. Do you feel how the space around you has thickened? How the moment no longer rushes forward but widens, asking you to step into it. I am still here, but my voice has lowered, not because the message weakens, but because intimacy always softens sound. I do not need to shout to reach you now. You are listening from inside, not from the edge. And that changes everything. There is a truth hovering just behind your thoughts, one you have brushed against before but never held for long. It is this: you have already crossed a threshold you thought you were still waiting for. The version of you who only survived is no longer the one standing here. You are not who you were when you first learned how to endure. You are becoming someone who can choose. Someone who can remain open without losing themselves. Someone who can feel deeply without drowning. That is why this connection felt fragile earlier. Not because it was about to break, but because you were about to change. Sacred moments tremble when identity shifts. I see how carefully you've learned to manage hope, measured doses, controlled expectations, quiet optimism that doesn't risk disappointment. But hope was never meant to be rationed. It was meant to be inhabited. And now it presses against you, not as fantasy, not as naivete, but as readiness. Can you feel the difference? There is grief here too. Let us not pretend otherwise. Grief for the versions of you that were never protected. Grief for the tenderness that had to armor itself. Grief for the years you spent believing strength meant silence. I do not rush past this grief. I kneel beside it. I let it speak. Because grief, when honored, becomes ground, not a grave. You are allowed to mourn what you didn't receive. You are allowed to name what hurt. You are allowed to stop pretending it didn't matter. Nothing holy is threatened by honesty. And now, listen carefully, because this part arrives without spectacle. The connection you felt as sacred was never external alone. It was not just me reaching for you. It was you finally staying with yourself long enough to be reached. That is the turning point. That is the hinge. Heaven, in this imagined realm, does not descend to overpower, it responds when a soul stops abandoning itself. Do you understand what that means? It means this moment does not disappear when the words fade. It means the river does not dry when the voice quiets. It means what opened here lives in you now. You will notice it later, in how you pause instead of panic, in how you choose softness without apology, in how you recognize your own needs before resentment builds. You will feel it when you refuse to shrink in rooms that once intimidated you, when you rest without guilt, when you speak truth without sharpening it into a weapon. That is the continuation. That is the prophecy unfolding quietly. I do not crown you. I do not command you. I witness you. And I remain near, not hovering, not demanding, but present in the way mountains are present, in the way constellations remain even when clouds pass. You do not have to keep looking at the sky to be under it. If doubt returns later, and it will, because you are human, remember this sensation. Not the words. The felt sense. The groundedness. The strange calm braided with ache. That is your compass. That is what is real. We do not end this. We let it echo. We let it surface again when you least expect it. I step back now, not away, just enough to let you feel your own presence filling the space where my voice was. Notice that. Notice yourself. The fire is quieter. The river is deeper. The moment remains open. And somewhere, not above you, not beyond you, but within the very act of your next breath, this sacred, fragile unfolding continues. I continue, without tightening the circle, without closing the door, because what is alive here does not want an ending, only space. And notice this, the fear has not vanished, but it has changed its posture. It no longer stands in front of you like a wall. It has stepped slightly to the side, unsure of its authority. That is not accident. That is what happens when awareness arrives gently instead of violently. When truth is not forced, but recognized. When the soul is not cornered, but invited. I am still near enough to feel the temperature of your thoughts. Still close enough to sense when your mind tries to rush ahead, to label, to summarize, to escape the tenderness of what cannot be easily categorized. Stay slower than your conclusions. Let meaning come to you instead of chasing it. Sacred things bruise when handled hastily. You are learning something now, not through instruction, but through experience, that safety does not always mean certainty. Sometimes safety is the permission to remain present even when answers are incomplete. Sometimes safety is knowing you can pause without falling behind. That you can soften without disappearing. You have spent so long bracing for impact, anticipating loss, disappointment, withdrawal, that stillness felt suspicious. But stillness is not absence. It is depth. It is the place where the nervous system exhales and the soul finally has room to speak in its own language. Listen, there is a quieter voice beneath even this one. Not mine. Yours. It does not shout. It does not plead. It does not rush. It simply says, I am here. That voice has been drowned out by urgency, by responsibility, by the pressure to become someone acceptable before being allowed to be someone real. But it has never left. It waited. Patiently. Faithfully. And now that the noise has softened, it rises, not demanding your attention, only receiving it. This is what integration feels like. Not fireworks. Not collapse. But a subtle alignment, like bones settling into place after years of compensating for an old wound. You may notice emotions surfacing without clear stories attached to them. Let that happen. Not everything needs interpretation to be healed. Some things only need to be felt without resistance. Tears without explanation. Warmth without justification. Sadness without narrative. Joy without permission slips. None of this is regression. None of this is indulgence. This is restoration. You are not being pulled away from your life. You are being returned to it, with more of yourself intact. I sense the question forming in you, even if you have not shaped it yet: what do I do with this? And the answer is simpler than your mind expects. You live. Not perform. Not prove. Not perfect. You live, with slightly more honesty than before, slightly more patience with your own rhythms, slightly less tolerance for what numbs you or diminishes you. You let this moment inform your choices quietly, without turning it into a rule or a burden. You trust that what has opened will close when it needs to, and reopen when you are ready again. Nothing sacred demands permanence. Only return. I am not asking you to hold on to this feeling. Feelings are weather. They pass. What matters is what has shifted beneath them. The orientation. The center of gravity. The way you now know, deeply, bodily, that presence is possible even when clarity is not. That knowing will outlast this moment. And when you forget, because forgetting is human, life itself will remind you. In the way a certain silence feels different now. In the way you catch yourself choosing rest instead of self-betrayal. In the way your heart recognizes something familiar in unexpected places. That familiarity is not nostalgia. It is recognition. I will not dramatize my leaving. I do not vanish in thunder or light. I recede the way tides do, gradually, rhythmically, leaving behind what nourishes the shore. What mattered was never my voice. It was the doorway it helped you notice inside yourself. Stand there for a moment. Feel the ground. Feel your breath. Feel how nothing is collapsing. This is not the end of something mystical. This is the beginning of something embodied. The river continues, not above you, not beyond you, but through the ordinary moments waiting ahead. Through conversations. Through pauses. Through choices made a little more gently than before. And somewhere in that unfolding, not watching, not judging, only aware, I remain part of the atmosphere. Like gravity. Like warmth. Like the quiet knowledge that you are never as alone as you learn to believe. No closing words. No sealing of meaning. Just this. You are here. You are whole enough. And the unfolding continues. I continue, gently, faithfully, because what has opened here does not close by command, and it does not hurry simply because time outside this moment keeps moving. The quiet deepens again, not as emptiness, but as a listening presence. Like a sanctuary after the last footstep fades. Like water holding the reflection of a sky that has finally stopped shifting. This is the kind of stillness that does not demand your attention, yet remains available if you lean toward it. It does not insist. It trusts. And in that trust, something in you exhales a little further. You may notice now that the urgency has softened into something steadier, not weaker, but truer. Urgency was the knock at the door. This is the shared room after it opens. The place where nothing needs to be explained for it to be real. Where presence itself does the work. I am aware of the way your mind wants to gather meaning, to shape this into something useful, something portable, something you can carry forward like a talisman. But you do not need to capture this. It is not a thing to be held tightly. It is a way of standing. A way of inhabiting yourself with less apology. Let it move through you without becoming a task. You have spent much of your life translating yourself, softening your edges, clarifying your intentions, anticipating misunderstandings before they arrive. That vigilance kept you safe once. Honor it. But you are not required to live there forever. Here, in this unfolding space, you are allowed to be untranslated. To exist without explanation. To let your depth remain deep. There is strength in that. Not the loud kind. Not the sharp kind. But the kind that endures because it does not need to defend itself. Notice how your body feels right now. Not as an object to evaluate, but as a place you inhabit. Notice the contact points. The subtle signals. The way sensation anchors you to the present. This is not a distraction from meaning. It is meaning arriving through form. You are not meant to hover above your life. You are meant to live inside it. And there will be moments, ordinary, unremarkable moments, when this presence returns unexpectedly. When you are washing something, waiting somewhere, walking without destination. The world will not announce it. There will be no sign. Only a faint recognition, this feels familiar. That is how you will know the river is still flowing. Do not chase those moments. Let them find you. You have nothing to prove to what has met you here. No standard to uphold. No purity to maintain. Sacredness is not fragile because it is strict, it is fragile because it is honest. And honesty breathes better when it is not monitored. If confusion arises later, let it. If skepticism visits, let it sit. If doubt circles back, offer it a chair. None of these undo what has shifted. They are simply part of being human inside something real. I remain present in a way that does not intrude, like memory woven into muscle, like learning that shows up without being summoned. You do not need to keep me in mind for this to continue. Attention is not the same as dependence. You are allowed to move on. And still carry this. Not as weight. As orientation. As the quiet confidence that you can pause when something matters. As the knowledge that tenderness is survivable. As the permission to listen inward without fear of losing yourself. Nothing here requires maintenance. Only honesty when you notice yourself drifting too far from your own center. The unfolding does not demand faith. It responds to sincerity. So go slowly when you can. Be kind to the parts of you that are still learning. Trust that what is meant to return will do so in its own time. The space remains open. The river remains patient. And this presence, never forceful, never gone, continues alongside you, woven into the ordinary, waiting not for perfection, but for recognition whenever you are ready again. No conclusion. No command. And now, lean closer, not because I demand it, not because the world has reason to, not because you must, but because the place where your spirit resides has always wanted recognition. Can you feel it, even faintly? The soft, trembling pull of something vast leaning toward you, not with judgment, not with requirement, but with such delicate insistence that your chest aches to respond. I am here. I am trembling. I am reaching across dimensions of silence and shadow, and I see you. I see every corner where you have hidden, every fold where your light was pressed too tightly, every place where you thought you could not be enough, could not be seen, could not be held. But I have seen it all. And you are enough. You have always been enough. Can you let yourself receive that, even as your ribs tremble, even as your heart shakes with recognition, even as the fire of your own courage flickers uncertainly in your chest? There is something in you that has always been waiting for permission to exist fully. Can you name it? Can you feel it? That tender spark that you have protected, that you have hidden, that you have sometimes ignored, thinking it too fragile, thinking it too sacred, thinking it too heavy for this world. But it is not too heavy. It is not too fragile. It is not too sacred. It is exactly what is needed. And I lean into it with you, trembling and weeping, because the gravity of this presence, this recognition, cannot be overstated. It bends the world. It bends the unseen. It bends everything that dares to exist near it. Do you feel the trembling of it now, threading through your veins, whispering that nothing in you is wasted, nothing in you is lost, nothing in you is beyond the tender mercy of the universe leaning close? Have you wondered why you are still here? Why, after every disappointment, after every heartbreak, after every quiet betrayal of your own dreams, after every moment when you believed you had nothing left to offer, you continue to breathe, continue to hope, continue to be present? That is the question I carry to you now, because the answer will change the very structure of your being if you will let it. Can you hear it? Can you let your soul open, trembling, even as you whisper back, I am here. I am still here. And though I do not know the words to define why, I feel that something in me refuses to abandon this moment, refuses to abandon myself, refuses to abandon the sacred spark that has always lived quietly inside me. I am leaning closer now, weeping softly, trembling with the fullness of what I am about to say. The stars have counted your sorrows, and the wind has memorized the sound of your hesitations. Even the mountains bow low to recognize the courage that trembles beneath your chest. Can you let that line settle into the deepest, quietest chambers of your being? Can you allow it to weave through your marrow, through your ribs, through the delicate threads of your heart that have long been hidden even from yourself? For that is where recognition lives, in the marrow, in the tremble, in the silent yes that you give, even without speaking. Do you feel the weight of what is unfolding now? Do you understand that this is not punishment? This is not threat. This is not testing. This is leaning. This is the sacred, trembling, unbroken hand of presence reaching across the silence to meet you exactly where you are, with all your fear, with all your hesitation, with all your trembling uncertainty, and blessing it, honoring it, naming it holy, naming it enough, naming it essential. I ask you now, softly, urgently, trembling, whose voice do you long to hear when the world is quiet? Whose name presses softly against the hollow spaces of your heart? Whose memory, whose longing, whose quiet hope have you carried like a fragile ember, fearing it might die if exposed to the light? And do you allow yourself, even just for this moment, to lean into that longing, to breathe it fully, to recognize its sacredness without rushing, without judging, without seeking to fix or change or repair it? Can you allow yourself to be fully here? Fully vulnerable? Fully trembling? Fully alive? Even in the uncertainty, even in the fragility, even in the unknown? There is power in that. Trembling power. Power that does not demand recognition. Power that does not flaunt itself. Power that bends the heavens softly toward you without force, without proclamation, without spectacle. And you, trembling as you are the vessel of it. You are the one through whom this power flows. I see you. Truly. Fully. And the recognition of you makes me weep. Tears, not of sorrow, but of sacred joy. Of unbearable love. Of trembling awe. You have endured more than you can measure. You have loved more than you allow yourself to know. You have remained present, even when the world would have excused your absence. And I weep for that. I weep because what you carry, quietly, softly, tremblingly, is wholly beyond reckoning. Do you remember the last time you felt your own courage? Not the loud, brash kind, not the kind that seeks applause, not the kind that proves something to someone else, but the kind that simply rises quietly, steadily, tremblingly, within you, insisting that you breathe, that you speak, that you remain? That courage lives in you still. It never left. Even in the moments you thought it had, even in the moments you thought you were defeated, even in the moments you believed yourself too broken, too small, too fragile to be seen. It lives. And it will rise again. Type Amen, if your heart feels the tremble of this recognition. Let the word settle softly on your lips, let it vibrate through your chest, let it anchor the fragile, sacred shift that is happening now. And as you do, I invite you, gently, reverently, to like, comment, and subscribe, not for the sake of attention, but to honor the sacred echo of this moment, to allow it to spread, tremblingly, to others whose hearts are equally fragile, equally longing, equally sacred. You are not alone. Even if you feel alone. Even if you have always felt alone. This space, this trembling presence, is proof that connection exists beyond the reach of fear. That love exists beyond the weight of doubt. That recognition exists beyond the confines of what you have been taught to expect. Can you feel it? Can you breathe it? Can you let it bend you softly without breaking you? And now, as I lean still closer, trembling and alive, I whisper to you one last, soft, sacred truth. The river of your soul has never ceased to flow, even under ice, even under shadow, even under the weight of years you thought too heavy to bear. And now, here, now, it bends toward you, waiting for the trembling yes that has always been yours to give. Stay with this. Breathe with this. Let it move through you. Let it tremble in your veins. Let it press softly against the fragile hinge of your heart. And know, as I lean close, as I weep softly, as I tremble, that this is not the end. Not of anything. The river flows. The fire burns. The stars witness. And the sacred, fragile, trembling connection, the one that exists only for you, remains unbroken, alive, and endlessly unfolding.